warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wassahbihi ajmain amma ba'du. The Honorable Miss Septa Aryanika, MPD, as my lecturer of seminar in language teaching subject, and all of my lovely friends. First of all, let me thank to God who gave me the healthy time and also change to present my proposal through this video. Secondly, may salawat and salam be upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightness. Well, here, my name is Shinta Renika. My student's number 171040154, and I am from class 6D. I would like to do the simulation of seminar and language teaching. Actually, here I would like to present to you about my proposal, with the title is The Influence of Using readtheory.org website towards students' reading comprehension ability at the 5th semester of English Education Study Program of UIN Raden Intan, Lampung in the academic year 2020 and 2021. Well, everyone, here I'm going to tell about my background of the problem. Actually, reading in language skill is one of the important way to gain insight and knowledge from medias. Entire process of understanding about ideas and feeling is occurred by reading. And here, based on preliminary research, I found some problems that appear by teachers and also students. By the teachers feel that students do not enthusiastic in reading activities. Students get difficulties in understanding long text. Students often find short text through online search. Based on students, the problems are students less motivation to read. And actually here means that reading is difficult for students, and second is students prefer to read text in online source, and the last is students feel that reading is boring activity. So based on this problem, the researcher feel that the problems arise because the students lack of motivation to read, and also students prefer to read text in online source, because nowadays, as we know that technology development is very rapid around people, actually teacher and also students. So it makes the students usually use their technology or phone to look for some material from the online source. So based on those problems, here the researcher would like to use readtheory.org websites to increase students' motivation to read in reading comprehension. Actually, readtheory.org is a free online website or platforms that aims to improve reading skill and comprehension. Actually, there are two previous research that relate with this research. The first one is implementation of readtheory.org in a university EFL context. This research was conducted by Christopher Tempest that discuss about implementation of read theory in students in EFL students. And the second is readtheory.org data collection 2.0 that conducted by G. Romeo, Tanner Hope, and Amanda Plante. And here they are discussed about investigate readtheory.org's impact on students' grade, standardized test score, and also overall reading confidence and ability. Okay, the difference between the previous research with my research is here I am focused on the use of readtheory.org as a free online platform to know students' reading comprehension ability at the 5th semester of English Education Study Program of Raden Intan Lampung. The reason why I want to do this research is to find out whether there is influence of using readtheory.org towards students' reading comprehension ability after they use this website in teaching and learning process about reading. Next is about limitation of the problem. Here, the researcher focused on the use of readtheory.org website to improve students' reading comprehension ability, especially for intensive reading. And the formulation of the problem is there any significant influence of using readtheory.org website towards students' reading comprehension ability at the 5th semester of English Education Study Program of Raden Intan Lampung in the academic year 2020 and 2021? And the use of the research is, the first is practically. As practically, the use of this research is to help the English teachers in finding proper media to improve students' reading comprehension. And the second is theoretically, is to add insight and knowledge of media to improve reading comprehension of the students. And then the scope of the research. Actually, there are 4 scopes of the research. The first is subject of the research. This research use subject is the students at the 5th semester of English Education Study Program of Raden Intan Lampung. And the second scope is object of the research. Object of this research is readtheory.org and students' reading comprehension ability. And the third scope is place of the research. This research will conduct in Raden Intan Lampung. And the last scope is time of the research. The time of the research is in the academic year 2020 and 2021. I would like to explain about the concept. The first concept of reading. Based on Harmer 1991, an exercise is dominated by the eyes and the brain is reading. So it means that reading is the receptive skill that people has. And based on Grabs, he states that reading is the process in receiving and interpreting the information encoded in written form. So it means that reading is the process to get the information about some text or about the written form that people read. And Mickey Leakey and Jeffries 1996 states that reading is a process in thinking. So in order to have reading ability in English, so the reader must think in English. The statement of the expert about reading, we can conclude that reading is a process to think for gaining the information and knowledge from the text. Moreover, understand the content of the materials that is read by the reader. And here there are 2 types of reading based on Mickey Leakey and Jeffries 1996. The first is extensive reading. Extensive reading is the process where the reader or people choose their own book to be read. And the second is intensive reading. Intensive reading is the process when people understand the whole about what they read. It's about specific information and the details information, such as like they have to understand or comprehend about the main idea, supporting detail, inference, phrase, idioms, and etc. Intensive reading is also called as reading comprehension. Here it means that reading comprehension is the process of people to get information or comprehend a whole text specifically. Okay, according to Brown, there are some aspects that should be mastered by the reader to comprehend the text deeply. They are: the first is main idea, the second is expression, idioms, or phrase in context. The third is inference, the fourth is grammatical feature, the fifth is detail, the sixth is excluding fact not written, the seventh is supporting idea, and the last one is vocabulary in context. Next is about the concept of readtheory.org website. Based on Khan, Samin, and Nambobi 2018 in Christopher Tempest, readtheory.org website is a free online platform that aims to improve students' reading comprehension ability. And in readtheory.org, person who want to use this online platform, they have to register as teacher, students, and also parents. It means that readtheory.org website is the online resources that is used by people in different ages, such as parents, students, and also teachers can use this online platform to increase their reading comprehension. Okay, next is about research methodology. The first is research design. In conducting this research, the researcher use experimental research design. Actually, experimental research design is research design that is used to know the influence of one variables to other variables. And the second is population and sample. Here, the research choose population from 5th semester of English Education Study Program in Winraden Intan Lampung. And the sample is, the researcher choose two class. It's not choose but just take two class. One class as experimental class and the other class as control class. And next is about research instrument. Research instrument here the researcher use test and data collecting technique. Here the researcher use test consists of pre-test and post-test. Pre-test is given before the treatment and post-test is given after the treatment. Okay, next is research procedure. Before the researcher do the researcher prepare some steps. The first is planning, the second is application. Planning is the researcher prepare planning before they do the research procedure. That consists of three planning. The first is determining the subject. Here, the researcher choose the 5th semester of English Education Study Program and to be subject. And the second is preparing pretest. The researcher prepare pretest that will be given for the students. And the last is determining the material to be taught. Here, the researcher prepare the material that is used to test or to be taught for the students. And the second is application. There are three steps in application. The first is in the first meeting, the researcher will give pre-test to the students, and the second meeting, the researcher will give a treatment to the students, and the third meeting, the researcher will give a post-test to the students. And next is validity of the data. Actually, validity consists of two kinds of validity. The first is content validity. Content validity is about where the teacher or the researcher will use textbook or course book when they want to teach, when the researcher will teach the students. It means that all the tests will be adapted from the textbook and based on syllabus for getting good content validity. And the second is construct validity. Construct validity is focused on kind of test that is used to measure the ability of the students. And the last is about technique of data analysis. The first is normality test. Normality test is used to know whether the data is normal, distribution normal, or not. And homogeneity test is to know whether the data is homogeneous or not. And the last is hypothetical test. Is about the hypothesis. Everyone, I think that's all about my presentation of my proposal, and here I can conclude that this research will conduct to find out the influence of using readtheory.org website towards students' reading comprehension ability at the 5th semester of English Education Study Program of UIN Raden Intan Lampung in the academic year 2020 and 2021. And I think that's all, and sorry if I have many mistakes, and thank you so much for watching, and I close. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wonder what I'll do when the cops come through and the whiskey's run out. 'Cause I've been looking at you since 2:30.